Hello everyone, welcome back to another video here on our mini-series on Transport Fever 2 in our temperate region in the United States of America on our small map. Welcome back. We are back at things again today. We have a few more projects that we need to get done, so we're going to get straight into it. But just letting you guys know right now, I do not have my camera on, and I did that because since we are building more, my laptop isn't really able to run much. So to prevent any lag, I decided to turn off the camera. So apologies about that ahead of time. Let's get started. So to start off with, we are going to go to each city and kind of do a little bit of an overview about how each pedestrian bus line is doing, considering the facts that we are very, very busy. First off, at Bellevue, by the way, that is how it's pronounced. I looked it up. It is not Bellevue or Bellevue. It is Bellevue. In Bellevue, we are doing just fine. We could probably maximize our profit by quite simply not having, you know, this weird triangle system that isn't really working out for this city. In Montgomery, we are doing okay here. I think we're going to take out a vehicle, considering the facts that, I mean, like, we kind of caught up. Nobody's using even this bus, so we're just going to sell that one. So we're going to take down our vehicles in that one. I'm going to go back to Bellevue, actually. I think I'm going to take out a vehicle as well, because there's no more than, like, 3 or 4 people waiting in a bus stop. So that is not very good for our monies. And Port St. Lucie is also doing great. I don't think I have to change anything about that, but we're going to keep an eye on them. So I think I figured out the main reason why there were so many people waiting at these bus stops is because when you first put in your pedestrian train, they all like to go over to your terminal station or your passenger station of whatever, and they just like to sit here and wait. So actually the best way to actually earn more money is by taking this train and adding, I think 2 more carts on it would work out very well. So by doing that, we actually have to get the train over there to the depot. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to have the train come up and drop these people off, go back to the depot, and start its route again. So hopefully we don't lose people in the process, but we will at least be able to carry more people and earn more money. Okay, so we thankfully just edited our train, and we now have 4 carts on here compared to 3 beforehand. Are we going to crash into each other? Okay, I didn't know if there was a sign right there or not. I thought we were going to crash into each other for a second. I'm like, that's not supposed to happen. But now we have our train with 4 carts, so we should be able to make even more money off of this, move people more, and have our bus stops utilized even more, which just means more money. And there's really nothing wrong with more money, especially in this game. So I know we have to repay a lot of loans, but let's see if we can try to start doing something else with our time in this game, so we can earn even more money and get a head start. Actually, since I've just been waiting for more money to accumulate and waiting to pay off more loans, I think we want to increase the efficiency of our nice construction delivery line. We have 9 vehicles on this line. So let's compare some vehicles together and see what could actually work out better for this line. So we have 2 drop-off points. I want to see if we need to extend them a little bit more. It seems like all these drop-off points can reach the areas that they need to. That's perfect. We don't need to deal with that. But as for these vehicles, so these guys have a capacity of 6 and they move at 16 miles an hour. Versus these guys, they move at 9 at 19 miles an hour. So that's about triple the speed and about half more of the capacity. So if I'm doing my math correctly, I say that we can take out approximately half of these steam trucks and replace them with those other vehicles. There we go. I just got rid of 4 vehicles out of our 9. If we go with these guys, there's really no difference except for one can carry a little bit more. So we replace these guys. Hopefully we should be good. These guys are still carrying stuff, so they're not replacing yet. So hopefully that will increase the efficiency. So it does go 19 miles an hour. So do we need to upgrade any roads to make sure we do fine? That's 25, so that's fine. This one's 12. I don't want that to be 12. I want to upgrade this road. Where's my upgrade button? There we go. I upgraded the roads that I needed to. This one's more of a side street. I don't need to upgrade it. It's fine. They can slow down a little bit. So now we're basically maximizing our profit off of that line, hopefully. So that should be awesome now. I know my graphics are on the lowest setting, but these vehicles do look pretty nice. So I'm excited about that. Okay, so I figured out the project that I wanted to do for this video. And it's going to be all about delivering some nice crude oil over to our oil refinery and producing fuel for Bellevue. Let's start making this because we can get a head start on it. I'm going to put it on maximum speed and I'll see you once it's done. Okay, so welcome back. A few things have happened recently. I do want to show you a few things. We did unlock a lot more locomotives along with some new things. Everything's looking pretty cool so far. But except for that, we finally finished this line and it's a little bit interesting and I want to kind of go over what I did because there's some tips that I think you guys could use in this. So first off, I did not mean to build the little electric thing here, by the way. That was an accident. But we start off with our crude oil well right here, and it's going to be brought over to our wonderful cargo train. Now, as you can see, this guy goes up a hill. It is very unfortunate that he's going to have to really push up this hill, but we're going to do our best. But essentially what ends up happening is that we come all the way through here, through the mountains, and we try to go along the contour lines the best we can without slowing down the train too much. So we end up accomplishing that just fine. Now here, I pulled off a little trick, and it's very neat. So I had to build a depot right here, but before this slope was pretty deep down. So instead of having this much longer train track that goes up a hill where I would have to build more terrain with that, I just flattened out the terrain right here so it would be level and it wouldn't cause as many issues. So I'm very proud of that. And then obviously we just have it come over here down to our oil refinery. From there we take all our wonderful oil down to our fuel refinery, and I ended up building a new road right here so it can get to our downtown much quicker. And I made sure it came down here behind our train station. If we had it cut in front, it would slow down our trucks, which isn't very good. Plus, it's just easier to do it this way. So now it's time to get everything set up. So we don't really need anything too strong. I actually have to check to see what our demand is over here. Our demand for fuel is 53, and to create this we need 53, so basically, okay, I'm just doing rough math. So what if we pick, maybe we have to use this guy. Maybe we have to use him and carry, how many of these guys? Let's just take a look at the estimate. 6 times 12, so that's 60. So that's about 72 oil, and it going back and forth multiple times would probably work out just fine. I don't want to use that big of a locomotive for that, so I have a feeling that we may want to stick with the Atlantic. Ooh, I'm going to dig myself into a hole I may not even get out of, but yet we've been getting out of every hole so far. So there, I'm going to put 7 on there. That's fine by me. So we'll do 7 for that. Let's just, you know what, let's just buy it now. I did 8 carts instead because I'm just that smart in life. Just sometimes you just gotta go for it, you know? And it's gonna grow, so once it grows, everything works better, right? There we go, so we're gonna start that line, and we're just gonna pull up more loans while we need to later. So let's get you started, and hopefully you can make us some awesome money, right? Okay, so good news. This guy can push hard. Like, he almost reached 50 miles an hour, which is his top speed, like, instantly. So that is great, and we're actually going to set it so he has to wait next time. See, by the time it gets by the station here, it's reaching about 40 miles an hour. Please stop lagging. There we go. Which is really good, and he's even going to go back even faster. So let's get a new line going. Alright, here we go. We have our fleet of trucks that are going to go up and collect that fuel and bring it over to, or sorry, not our fuel, our oil, and bring it to our fuel refinery. So we got that started. They're going to do a full load every time they stop by. Hopefully they can export plenty for us and not waste time and money. So I think this line's going to do alright. It's not making money right now. It's just starting to catch up. So at this station we now have 116. Perfect. And it's going to collect to 96. That is good. Let's pay off more loan. We have almost $20 million in debt for just loans. Alright, so I was just sitting here looking at the different things. The Benz trucks are actually faster, and they can carry more. Meanwhile, the Macs don't do as well. So, that's really interesting. Yeah, the Benz work much better. So maybe the Mack trucks were not good to use for our fuel line. So that's really interesting. Alright, so I think this is where we're going to end the gameplay here, but let's first do our recap. So back in Port St. Lucie, we are just about the same as we were before. We really haven't done anything different, but we're keeping up with everything. We have a 130% increase toward our city, which is really good. It's still growing, and it's kind of scaring me because I've never had a city this big before. So we're going to figure that one out. But as of right now, we're shipping about everything we can. The missions are still kind of poor, but it's not too much of a big deal. But on another note, we do have one of our tallest buildings in this game so far that we've gotten to. And that is doing quite nice, I guess. So how many people actually live here? So 12 residents? Alright, nice. So that's cool. Over here in Montgomery, we now have 2 vehicles moving back and forth from our depot to our bus, or truck stops, I should say, truck stop. And they are now at a 130% increase, and none of that being from our construction material. And as for the train that is bringing in the construction material, we are making money off of it now. Thank God. Look at this. Look at this. Ooh. It's been a rough slope until, 10 years later, basically. Actually, more like 20 years later. Jeez. I've been playing this map for a while. Yeah, so we're thankfully making money off of that line now. And over in Bellevue, we are now increasing our jobs. We are at about a 40% increase for our fuel line, which is really good. So the delivery system for that is doing pretty alright. We could do better on it, but as of right now, we have more growth in the city, which is what we wanted. That also means that we can transport more people back and forth when there's more people in that city. And right now we are at I just jumped from 70% to 80%, so we are at an 80% increase for this city. So that is great. And if we look at our overall lines, there is not a single line where we are losing any money on, which is fantastic. Now maybe we can change it up a little bit and maybe expand off of our pedestrian lines, or maybe even make them slightly more efficient. As for next video, we will have to keep paying off our loans, but at the same time I do want to start making a transport system on the air, so we will build 2 airports, one in Port St. Lucie and one in another town. But unfortunately, we are out of time, so thank you for joining me today. If you would like to help support out the channel, please hit that thumbs up. I would highly appreciate it. Any comments, suggestions, leave me down below. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. And guess what? Join our Discord. You do both of those things, and you can let me know. I will give you a free shout out in the next few videos. I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.